Well, I've had a bunch of you, I mean a ton of you, asking, saying you want a guide on how this hero legacy works. So today we're going to be going over it. I'm going to go over some of the best weapons you can use for each one, what you need to do, how it works, and what you should really be saving up for inside the game. Well, the first thing you need to know about this is you do need to get your talents to 2,790. Once you reach that point, this is where you unlock the hero legacy. And once you get to chapter 51, I think that's where the book starts showing up in chapters, so like travels and things like that. But this will be the main point of when you first at least get to unlock the skeleton inside the game. Now, as you can see here, there is 4 different ones. We have the skeleton, we have the knight, we have the ranger, and the ghost. And there's one coming soon. We don't have the dragon legacy yet. I'm assuming that's where it's going to pop up right there. But either way, you can see we're active right now on the skeleton. If I want to switch to another one of them, I just hit that little symbol down the bottom, activate legacy, and then that one is now using the inheritance of the knight. The other thing we have though too is we can actually go and change out the character in between. So as you see, the legacy has a whole bunch of them. We got 3 different ones. I guess it's not a whole bunch, but we can actually go and switch over and pick one of the ones from the skeleton or the ghost or the ranger. I really don't see a big deal in doing that because most of the things for the actual skeleton legacy are going to pair up pretty good with these skeleton heroes here. But if you do want to build around a little bit, maybe you want to use the skeleton for combo and then go and use the ranger for some crit and kind of mix match, that's perfectly fine. So when you first unlock the skeleton, this is going to be kind of the screen you'll see here, this kind of ladder diagram. This is your new skill system inside the game. And as you can see here, the bonelet of the skeleton is going to summon a little bone to deal damage equal to 240% of the main character's attack to the enemy, reducing the target's combo damage reduction by 30% for 2 rounds. Now for that reduction, you'll actually see a little symbol underneath the enemy, just kind of like we see all the other reductions inside the game. But as far as the attack, you're just going to see the initial one. And there is a meter that fills up with every attack that you have inside the game. Once that fills up, you'll see your character change into the skeleton and then make the attack and go back to normal. You can see here we have health, then attack, and then defense on the left side, and same thing with the right side too. However though, the left side, those are going to be ones that are going to be a plus based thing, whereas as far as the actual right side is going to be a percentage based thing. Now all these stats, regardless of what legacy you decide to use, these stats are going to stay as a passive. So don't feel like you can switch one of them, you're going to lose stuff, it's just going to stay with you forever. Now that skeleton wave in the center right here, which is under bone inheritance, sword aura, or sword chi, is going to have damage plus 30% and counter attack ignore plus 10%. That is going to be active the whole time you have this as your legacy. So if I go back up to here, or better yet, if I go over to here and click on this, you can see we're on the knight right now for the legacy. I can go and change this, hit the little arrow down underneath the skeleton, and activate the legacy. Now that skill is activated all the way throughout the battle. And below that, you can see the bonelet here. We have him equipped. It's the only one I have right now, but I'm working my way to unlock the other ones. Now you can also see that I have Skeleton Recruit unlocked right now. That is where we're going to be getting to our legacy too. And if you have your gear at level 70, you may notice that if you go to try to upgrade it, it'll say you need to get one of your legacies up to legacy 2. So that'll be the point where you could go and take things now to level 80. And if you want to go up to level 90, well, you're going to need to go down even further to hit that legacy 3. And in order to unlock that spot of that legacy 2, you will need to complete both sides of it. And as far as that health at 10 for 10, you need to go through 1 for 10, 2 for 10, all the way through those before you can unlock the attack one. Do the same thing on that, and then you can unlock the defense one. You can't just go and say, I'm going to do one of each and then get there. You've got to complete them all the way through. However though, that skill in the middle, we don't need to actually complete that or unlock it in order to get down to that next legacy part. Now I know a lot of people have been asking, wondering how many books they should be saving up inside this game till they reach this point, and the answer is I don't know how many books it is, but I can guarantee you that if you keep on buying them inside the game, by the time you get here, you still won't have enough. The books are going to be what we use to upgrade the ones kind of on the outside, the smaller looking objects like your HP, attack, and defense. And you can get these things from chapters, you can get them from travels. They're usually going to be popping up during those Ludwig events where you either roll the roulette thing or have to pick the 3 of them. But there is other spots to get them. You can get them over from the shop. The guild shop there is going to be one where you see them all right in here. I buy these things. A lot of people say to hang on to them for other things, but I find these things very valuable. You can see I'm stacked up right now. Once I get up to that, say 1600 or 16K mark, I'll probably go and pump a bunch of them into the Ranger one because that's what I'm really focused on right now. But the other spot we can get them to is from the Magic Crystal shop. And I wouldn't actually get them from here. This is gonna be one of those things where these are a little bit expensive for the crystals. However, though, what we do wanna get out of here is that elite pack, or what people call the contracts inside the game. And those contracts are gonna be used to unlock the other legacies inside the game. So I have them all unlocked right now. If I go over to them, and let's say it was the first time that I've showed up to them, I would go and click on this, it'd show kind of grayed out on the top, and it would take one of those contracts in order to unlock that legacy. The other thing those contracts are used for is going to be those skills we see in the center and at that Legacy 2, Legacy 3, and so on. So if I click on that, you can see I have 17 contracts right now, and there's levels to those. So if I go back over to the bone one here, the skeleton, and click on that, that's now going to take 3 to take it up to that level 2. So you can burn through these things pretty fast, and they're pretty hard to get unless you're spending money inside the game. So figure one contract every single week, you might be finding yourself saving up for a while. So that is a high priority item to get. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, I'm gonna go and try to unlock as many of these legacies as possible and upgrade one skill in one, and while that one's working, I'll upgrade in the other. That is not the case. You can only upgrade one thing at a time out of all 4 of these things. So fortunately, it's gonna take a while, and if you need to, you can speed these things up with gold. However, though, it is something usually like 4 million gold that's needed, and once you go and complete your talents, you're gonna find you get a lot of gold really fast, but once you start upgrading these, on top of books and gold you need to upgrade them, you're going to be finding that you're wasting a lot of gold, speeding it up so you can upgrade the next one. Now, if you want to, you could go through and just scroll up and click on every single one of these to kind of figure out, what is the skills inside the game. But you could also actually just go over here to the screen and you can see I can click on every single one of these to kind of know what the skills are. And we'll just kind of show you here on them. So if anybody does ask, I think they're on Discord too, so you don't really need to see them all. But there is kind of 4 main basic ones that you need to know for each one and how they're going to pair up with your build. So the skeleton here is going to be a combo-based legacy. So you equip this, you're going to be working really well with your combo weapons. So your Sword of Justice or even your Sky Splitter, both combo weapons benefit really well from them. And I think even the Sky Splitter there is going to have the Sword Chi, which is also going to work really well with this skeleton. So as far as what's listed as this legacy skill, or what I would probably much say the different skeletons inside the game, I couldn't really see any reason why you would go and unlock the Bone King and still be using the bowman. The stats get better and better as you get further down that tree, so I would just say whichever one you have unlocked that's towards the bottom of this, use that because it's pretty much going to be the best. When it comes to the knight inside the game, this one is going to be a counter-based legacy. So you can see here a lot of stuff as far as counter. The light spear, those are going to be the spears that fall from the sky. So a little bit of a skill in there. The other one had sword chi, this one has the spear. But you can see the other ones that counter rate, counter damage, counter attack, and then we're all gonna have like some sort of restore HP after a certain amount of counters. The other one was combos. So all of these trees are gonna find like a similar path. So the combo percentage on one is gonna be a counter percentage on the other. The combo damage on one is gonna be a counter damage on the other. Given that this is a counter legacy, the Shadowlands, the During Hammer, the Mushroom Hammer, they're all gonna benefit pretty well from this. The next one is going to be the Ranger one or the Scout one, and this is going to be based around crit inside the game. And this is the one I'm looking forward to kind of go and buffing myself up on, probably what I'm going to be using for a majority of the game, at least for a while on it once I get it there. First, I'm going to upgrade the bone. We really want to try to upgrade all 4 of these. It's only going to benefit you with those passive stats. But if you notice here, probably the first thing that sticks out to you is there's a dagger on the screen. So on top of crit, we also have some dagger buffs. Once again, we have the sword chi, we have the spear, and this one is daggers. But this will work incredibly well with both the Whisperer and the Angel Bow inside the game, and I'm actually going to be even saying that this works well with the Nomad Bow. The fact that the Nomad Bow works off of crits, every time you crit, you get a stack, I find this very useful for. And that's one of those things too, where a lot of people will say, oh, you should be using bones for the combo because combo means you get a second hit, you crit on that, you can then go and get more stacks that way. But it's kind of 50-50, or it's all really personal preference. For me, I'm going to try to run this one and see how it does. I know I could always build other things inside the game that will focus more around the combo and then utilize this to really make sure that I'm getting that crit in there. So the last one here is the Ghost, and given that we went over combo, counter, and crit, it only makes sense that this one is going to be the skill-based one. And their first skill is going to be based around fire and bolt inside the game, so you figure things like your Reaper staff, your Bishop staff, or even your Star staff, this is going to be the actual tree that you want to focus on. Now I have no idea about this Dragon Legacy, when it's going to show up, what it's going to be about. Maybe there's going to be a lot of dodge in there, maybe a lot of shields, who knows. But those books are pretty expensive. Still, I'm buying them every time I see them. I really didn't go over any of the non-S grade items in here besides the Nomad Bow, because when it comes down to it, by the time you reach this point, you probably either have yourself a pretty decent S grade, or you're already trying to push to get that Nomad Bow. But I hope that answers some questions behind it there, gives you a little bit better understanding of how this is going to work. If there's any questions that you have inside the game on it, let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to know more about the Mythic Icy Bubble, yep, I got one. And you can see it here too with my onion skin. I think I look pretty cool. But at any rate, if you want to check that out, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.